Good morning. I received a lot of questions regarding the supplemental and the Advantage plan that made me feel like maybe it's not fully understood. So I created this video one more time to explain it in a different fashion, what the difference is between the two. So stay tuned. When you retire, the government pays for your hospitalization. But what are you going to do with the hospitalization if there is no doctor? So you have to pay for what they call Part B. So Part A is the hospitalization piece. So the government will absorb the cost of hospitalization, but only 80%. You pay the 20%. Now, to get the doctor's fees covered, you need to get Part B, okay, of this plan, and you have to pay for that one, not the government. It costs about $135 a month, currently anyway. And that will cover you for physician cost, also at 80%. So you still have the 20% balance that you have to pay. You don't want this, so you want to get additional coverage. Now, there are two ways to do it. You can either get a supplemental plan or an Advantage plan. I'll explain the supplemental plan. When you get the supplemental plan, you will be covered 100%. The way that works is, when you file a claim with the supplemental insurance company, they will collect the 80% from the government. Then they will absorb the other 20%. So you are 100% covered. Of course, there are certain exclusions and deductibles, but those are much less compared to an Advantage plan. And when you have this supplemental plan, you can be anywhere in the United States. You could be in California, you could be in New York, and you will be covered. You can go to any hospital, see any doctor, you will be covered. No restrictions whatsoever. Okay? Now, how does that differ from the so-called Advantage plan? Now, the Advantage plan is much cheaper. Sometimes you pay zero premium, but you still have to have Part B, okay? In both supplemental plan and Advantage plan, you have to have Part B. So that's $135 a month minimum that you have to pay, okay? Now, the Advantage plan is sort of like an HMO. You will be covered if you go to a doctor, or you use an ambulance service, or you go to the hospital that is within the network. So within a given area, for example, Pennsylvania, not only Pennsylvania, but Delaware County. So it's county-wide as opposed to statewide. So I cannot even go to Pittsburgh, PA and be covered if I am covered in my area here in Philadelphia. Okay? So it's very restricted. You have to stay within the group. If you stay out of the group, you are not covered. More details on that, okay? So let's say I'm going to Washington, more specifically, let's say Pierce County, Washington. I will be covered within that group. But all I have to pay is the $135 Part B, and for the supplement, for the Advantage plan, it's either zero premium or maybe $20. In my case, when I go there, I think I will select the $20 premium. Now, keep in mind, it's not as simple as supplemental or Advantage. Within supplemental or within Advantage, you have a lot of choices. It depends on the county you're in. A lot of choices. So don't just take my word for this, okay? What you need to do is to inquire and deeper into the details of the plan. Don't just say, here are some of the questions you should ask the representative of the Advantage plan. When you go seek an Advantage plan, ask the following questions. Will I be covered when I'm out of network, whether you're in the US or overseas? When you say out of network, most of them are only thinking in terms of within the United States, because that's mostly what they cater to, okay? But your situation is different. You're overseas, so you make sure you specifically ask them when you are overseas. What are the deductibles, if any, based on specific disease or medical issues? Are there any exclusions, meaning those that will not be covered at all? For example, cancer, diabetes, etc. those are sort of, sometimes they have exceptions in those cases. What percentage will be covered when you're out of network? Is it 80% or 100%? Don't assume that because I said 80% that's the case in all cases, okay? Is there a limit as to the number of months I will be allowed to be overseas for you to be covered? The reason for this is this. Only some supplemental plans will cover you overseas, but only for the first 60 or 90 days. When you're out of the country for more than 60 or 90 days, you're no longer covered. It's sort of like a travel plan. Advantage is not. Usually you're covered, period. Do they have any reference that you can call and inquire about regarding the reputation of the company and the experience they have with the company? Always ask for a reference. Check the internet if there are any bad reports on any specific company. And then here it is. In the supplemental, usually after you get the supplemental, you still have to buy a drug plan, prescription drug plan. It's not automatic. There are some that includes a drug plan, but most of them do not. So usually you'll have to pay an extra $20 to $50 a month just for the drug plan. Well, guess what? On the Advantage program, it's usually included. But within that plan, there could be a selection of what plan you want. And it depends. Some plans cover this kind of medicine more than the others. So you have to give them, the agent, a list of the medications that you are now taking and ask them which of these plans will be best for you, that is lowest cost, that is. Okay? They differ from plan to plan and from company to company and from area to area. And that's the reason why you cannot just rely on what I'm saying and assume that it's going to apply to you. You have to do your own due diligence. Very important, okay? So that is the difference between the two. Now let me make a comment regarding the interview I had with Bankers Life. I will connect the link here so that you can watch it again if you want. But I caution you that here's the situation. What he said to me is, first of all, the reason I interviewed him, I was very curious because he's the first one I heard of that sells supplemental plan with worldwide coverage. Wow, that's impressive, right? So I interviewed him. And sure enough, it says, well, compared to Advantage plan that will only cover you 80% when you're overseas, this will cover you 100% when you're overseas. Here's the problem. It has a deductible of, I think, about $2,240 or $2,400, over $2,000 deductible. That means the first $2,000 or so that you spend, you'll be responsible for. It is not covered. Supplemental plan, only the 20% is not covered. 2,000, what's that? That amounts to about 500,000 pesos that you will absorb first before they cover you. You know what that means? In the Philippines, that's a lot of money for medical costs, because medical costs in the Philippines is not as expensive as in the US. For you to spend 500,000, that you must be fairly serious, okay? And most likely, you will not incur that. The reason they have that, they're not gonna pay. Most likely, it will not cover you. So nice to advertise 100% coverage, but only on expenses incurred over $500,000. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay? So, what I'm going to suggest is you forget about that insurance company. By the way, I asked him about the, he told me that the first $2,000 will be covered at 80%. So, just like Advantage plan. So I said, that's good. And then anything over that will be 100% covered. That's good. And then I have the benefits of a supplemental plan in the US. When I'm in the US, I can go anywhere. I'm not restricted to any specific hospital or doctor. Beautiful. Until I asked him about that. I said, could you show me proof? Either a document or a link to a website that tells me the first $2,000 will be covered at 80%. At the same time, I sent him a list of my prescription drugs. He came back to me and said, well, it looks like the prescription drugs will be more important to you, so I would suggest you talk to my colleague who represents Humana and United Healthcare Advantage plans. What that's telling me is he lied. Either he lied or he made a mistake that it is not covered. And because of that, I lost interest in beneficial life. Not only that, some of my viewers brought to my attention when they did the internet research that Bankers Life had some bad comments. They are not paying, or they will try to do anything they can to get out of paying your claims. Having seen that and having heard that, I said, forget about that. So make sure you keep that in mind if you ever consider Bankers Life. And by the way, Bankers Life is an affiliate of Colonial Life Insurance or Colonial Medical Insurance. It's Colonial. I don't know if Bankers Life is affiliate or Colonial is affiliate of Bankers Life, but if you hear Bankers Life or Colonial, watch out. That is what I can say about this company. I'm very unhappy about it. Okay? If you have any further questions, please put them in the comment section. I'll be glad to respond to you. And if you like this video, please hit like and do subscribe so you will get a quick update on any new videos that I have. Have a nice day, and thank you very much for watching.